And thank you very much for staying with us here on PM Express. You may not have noticed, but it's crept on us. 10 years since we had John Evans Atta Mills leave us. He was a sitting president who, of course, passed on. First time it's happened. Almost everybody remember where they were when that happened. I remember exactly where I was in this newsroom when the statement was issued announcing that he had passed. And today we're going to be speaking to one of those individuals closest to him throughout the period, indeed. And he, of course, had set up an institute to immortalize his memory. But that, as we've seen yesterday, that had been thrown into some form of a controversy. We're trying to settle that particular issue, looking at securing Atta Mills' legacy. I want to go into, for those of you who may have forgotten, 10 years of this. And I always remember that date because I see it 24/7. Anytime I say 24/7, I remember that date exactly on which it happened, 24th July 2012. It's exactly the day he died. I don't forget it because of the way that date rhymes with everything else you say each time you say 24/7. I just remember him, the former president who passed. He would have been 78 years this year. And he stood for a lot of things, indeed. He was known as a Sumjehine. Mills rejected the UK's threats to cut aid if they refused to legalize homosexuality. He stood up to the West at a time when many countries were simply just, turning the other cheek and at the back of threats that had come in. We brought this up because it's relevant now, because as you know, there is a bill in Parliament and there's a lot of conversation around what Ghana's position is on this particular matter. He didn't hold back, telling the whole world what his stance was. And we know why he said he's a Sumjehine. His roots as a Christian, he was very proud of. Now, you've heard a lot about Sada. He's the man who engineered it to help bridge the gap between the North and the South. Now, and the thing about since he passed this, and we're going to be talking to Koku Anyidoho, since he passed, Koku served him as the director of communications. He decides to put up the Atta Mills Institute, and the Atta Mills Institute was to do something, to set up as a non-governmental and non-profit policy brain box with a social democratic orientation. And this, in essence, was a way of immortalizing his memory and to do a few things, indeed, that would ensure that his memory stays forever. And these were some of the key core areas that institute was looking at: shaping public policy, public lectures and seminars, roundtable discussions, mentorship programs, scholarships for the needy, but brilliant and talented students. And I'm wondering, have all of these been done really? We'll get Koku to tell us very shortly, and who is funding it. He also talks about forcefully supporting civic education, especially in schools, and also advocacy. I guess these areas were chosen because he believes those are the principles Professor Mills stood by until he died. We'll get into some of these key issues very shortly. Now, then came yesterday a different vehicle, and this is where it gets interesting, because the Atta Mills Institute had been there for a while, and then yesterday another vehicle with almost the same purpose to immortalize the memory of Atta Mills then also emerged, but this time supported by the family and the party and the former president. And so many said that maybe carries a bit more weight, and theirs is called the John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Heritage, from the John Evans Atta Mills, the Mills Institute to this. And their purpose is to anchor Professor Mills' passion and commitment to the inclusivity, transparency, and peace. And they had a theme yesterday, the man John Evans Atta Mills, 10 years on, started with that. And so that then begins to create a certain conflict that we need to explore. Same man, two different institutions, all put together to immortalize his memory. Is there a conflict there, or they can all coexist in making sure that his memory is really anchored? And we've had a few prominent people from the NDC leading this. And the board chairman, for example, good friend of mine, had told us that, of course, it's non-profit, independent, and non-partisan organization, which is exactly also what the Atta Mills Institute is, all three issues as well. Now, one of the things that I want you to pay attention to, when my researchers showed me those two, the logos of both, the first thing I told them, they both look so familiar, so similar. It just struck me that the similarity is obvious, if you can see here. So this is the Atta Mills Institute, which obviously has been in existence way longer and is very established and done a few things across the country, as I've illustrated. And then this is the one that was launched just yesterday, J.A. Mills Memorial Heritage. The first thing you notice is that both of them are secular. The second thing you notice is that they all have this ring in it. And then the inner, the colors, shades of the same color. It is pretty amazing, the similarity that you cannot help but notice in the two logos representing the institutions that are supposed to immortalize his memory. So the question you have to ask, can't this subsume under this or this under this, so we have one united institution that immortalizes his memories? It's a fundamental question that needs to be asked. Was this really, really necessary? And we've had people associated with this say, in essence, that this is the one that is going to be recognized. But the question also has to be asked of Koku Anyidoho, who of course had established this. Because from what we heard yesterday, this is backed by the family, the party, the former president, and so the people with a bit of gravitas. Why does he appear that he's possibly a lone man walking in the wilderness when it comes to the Atta Mills Institute, and everybody else seems to be gravitating towards this? It gives this a bit more legitimacy, some may suggest, than his. And is he possibly willing to just merge the two because they all have the same man as a reason for their existence? Right? So we'll ask all those hard questions when we sit down and talk. And Mr. Anyidoho himself has not held back in expressing his own frustration with the way this has been handled, and because he raises the obvious questions I've asked already, and he's expressed them. He's not a man to hold back, by the way, so I'm not surprised, because he speaks his mind. And if you knew Professor Mills, he also spoke his mind. I just told you about standing up to the UK and telling them their peace of mind. That is Koku also for you. And so don't be surprised when he said, for example, people of Ghana, respectfully, please check out the color of this. Fake and criminally minded pretenders. They stole the green and white colors of the Atta Mills Institute, and when we exposed them, they ran for blue. I am laughing, he says, into stitches. You think that this is harsh, but as I said, if you go back to his boss, Atta Mills, who he's celebrating, he doesn't hold back too at all. And so that's him expressing his own feelings about what has happened, and then he puts the pictures there about the logos that I've talked about. He didn't stop there, of course. He talks about a wonderful edifice which was built to, again, immortalize his memory. This is a library, the John Evans Atta Mills Presidential Library, which is lying, he says, has been abandoned. One of the things we do here, we just don't take anybody's word for it. We've sent our reporters down there to check for ourselves. The last time we did this, more than 2 years ago, we went there, we checked. Yes, it looked abandoned. We've gone back today to see if Ms. Anyidoho's concerns are still what it is. We'll tell you shortly what we found. Bring a short report, what my reporter found when they went to the Atta Mills Library. Of course, he raised other issues, using some pretty strong words. On PM Express, we don't shy away. We'll put these to him. Are these his? Does he still own them? And we'll put that to him pretty short when we sit down to talk. Now, I want to remind you that Mr. Anyidoho is a formidable member of the National Democratic Congress. His roots are in the NDC. If you don't know him, you're watching the show for the very first time, this is him. He is a former Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. He was the Director of Communications, but he was recently suspended by the party for alleged misconduct. It's been a year. In fact, you may not remember, but it's exactly a year this month, 8th February, since he was suspended from the party. I'm curious to know whether he still sees himself as a thoroughbred National Democratic Congress person. I won't say a member because the party says he cannot hold himself as such, but that he still traces roots there. We'll have this conversation as we explore Atta Mills's legacy and what the Institute have done and what his legacy really is 10 years on, and how do you really immortalize him? Is it through institutions like the Heritage or the Institute, or through something else that he stood for? Very fascinating conversation, no holds barred as always. We'll ask all the tricky, controversial questions. You want to stay with me after this break? And thank you very much for staying with us on PM Express. My guest is Koku Anyidoho. He is the former Director of Communications under John Evans Atta Mills, the late, and he joins me in the studio. He is also the head of the Atta Mills Institute. I'm grateful, Mr. Anyidoho, for your time here on PM Express.
Thank you, Evans.
Thank you. Can you believe it's been 10 years already since Prof. Mills died? I mean, how is the Institute faring?
Well, Evans, good evening, and good evening to every individual, far and near. Yeah, it's been 10 years. 10 years. It's come. It's almost here. We'll be here specifically on the 24th of July.
Yeah, 24/7, I always say.
Yeah.
Don't want to forget that day.
It hit everybody hard.
Yeah.
And I recall, I think 2 months, 3 months before he passed as the president, he had to be at 37 to commission a new mortuary that was being built by his administration. And then subsequently, on the same day, went to commission refurbished work at the ICU, intensive care unit.
At Kolebu?
No, the same 37.
Okay, 37, okay.
So when I found myself at the ICU on 24th of July, when I was just viewing the lifeless body of the president, and I played back the events of he commissioning the new mortuary, which is named after, I think, Wadwani, one of the celebrated pathologists of the Ghana Armed Forces. And then at the ICU, was like, so did he come to commission these two, what do you call it? Whatever the word is, just to prepare for his passing.
Because it was there that he was taking.
Yeah, he was taken to 37 Military Hospital. Yeah. And for the records, I mean, all the story. It's been 10 years, Evans.
It's been.
And I'm happy. I'm excited because now there's a certain story Koku Anyidoho can speak to. And the nation wants to listen. The world wants to listen because in his passing, that's the passing of the president. Look, I was drowned, or the name, the identity was drowned in a lot of, for want of a better phrase, a lot of murky, sensational stuff. He was too powerful. So Mills is dead. Let's punish him. He disrespected the vice president because he had so much power.
Talking about yourself.
That's me. Talking about myself. He disrespected the vice president because he had so much power. Where was the power from? There was no power.
But you were...
It was on the same...
For those young people who were not there, when they say Koku Anyidoho, you struck fear into people's hearts.
I got into office before I was 40.
Yeah.
Maybe I must have been the youngest. No, today Eugene Ahin is there.
Pretty young, yes.
Much younger, but okay, so I won't say that too. Yeah, so Eugene Ahin is there, but there was a Koku Anyidoho. Yeah. And what Koku Anyidoho did is different from what Eugene Ahin is doing.
True.
So this young guy comes in and he has the confidence of the president. Where did he come from? He has no godfather. How did he emerge? How did I emerge? Destiny. That's it. So I'm here with my Bible. This is my Bible.
So
this is my Bible.
This is a proper Bible?
Oh, yeah.
The King James version?
Yeah, New King James Version, not just King James.
But it's very huge.
Yeah, they bought it from Challenge Bookshop because...
I mean, and it has very bold...
yeah, because one is growing.
Yeah.
You know,
talking about bold typeface. You know what I'm going to say? Professor John Evans Atamos was very famous for reading from this type of
And I used to write his speeches.
Font size.
Elvis.
Evans.
No.
Oh, Elvis.
Kwashi, may he so rest in peace.
Yes.
I can't come here and not remember Elvis. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Amen. I mean, Elvis was a brother and a friend. Yeah, so I used to write his speeches and all the controversies surrounding. Okay, so this is the Bible, and then
was this his Bible?
Well, people have no. This is not his Bible.
This is not his Bible.
This is mine. But anyway, so Evans.
But you're talking about post him.
Yeah.
You became sort of the bastion.
So back to the issue of being powerful.
Yeah, being powerful. But you were powerful, Koku Anyidoho. I mean, you're famously on radio talking about heads will roll.
It was on this network.
Yes.
That I granted the interview. And what was the issue? Lights had gone off, football match.
Black Stars were playing.
Yeah, Black Stars, Kumasi, stronghold of the opposition MPP. A very vociferous opposition. Atta mills this, Atta mills that, Atta mills that. We laid hands on some national security report, and they said like it was a sabotage. And it wasn't my decision. It was some decision that, look, go out there as head of communication spokesperson on behalf of the presidency, make a statement. What did I say? I said, well, we suspect that there's sabotage. There will be investigation. If it so happens that the ECG head in Kumasi or Ashanti region is found culpable, his head will roll. Jesus Christ. Suddenly, they said I had sacked some ECG person. Evans, I didn't even have the authority to sack that person. But I was happy when, I think last year, Samson Ladiayenini, he hosts your colleague, came out one morning, on his program. It was on Asempa with Obi. And when Samson tweeted or sent a text into Obi that, look, he was producing that evening when I granted the interview, and I never sacked anybody. I thanked Samson Ladia for setting the record straight, because that record needed to be set straight. But that's by the way. So I wasn't powerful. I had work to do. And I operated on a double P principle: protect and project the president. And Evans, there was only one president in the republic. And at any given point, there shall be only one president in any republic. Now, if you're a vice president and you think and you believe that you are more important than the president, it is wrong.
Did John Dramani Mah's vice president think he was more important than Mills?
I think that today and tonight, let me just state, he never said so. And I will not say he said so. But I was head of communications at the presidency, duly appointed by His Excellency the President. And before I get there, I wasn't unemployed. I wasn't in a state of penury when President Mills called me in 2005 to come and work for him. Good education, good background, good family. Work experience. I'd worked with the United Nations, worked at GBC, worked in other places, and I was gainfully employed at the Metropolitan and Allied Bank, the first private commercial bank in the country, a Ghanaian Malaysian, corporation. The late Alex Ashagbo, two-time governor of the central bank, was my executive chairman, and I began as his executive assistant. At the time President Mills was calling me, I was head of Treasury and Investment. 2000, so we are going back a bit. So 2000, we lost an election. A few of us, strong guys, NDC, pro-NDC, because my love for PNDC and Rawlings was because I grew up in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Kotoka Primary School, Madam Tamakulo, may also rest in peace. That was our headmistress, Madam, we called her. I can still see Jerry Rawlings, or Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings, on top of a Mohawk, Nicholson Park. So May 15th, 79, June 4th, 79. 31st December 79. Evans, I lived it. It's not a story that was told me. I didn't read it in any book. I can still remember looking for my siblings, for us to run from Kotoka Primary School back to Labadi Villas amidst all the
chaos that was happening.
The chaos. I still remember Flight Lieutenant Jerry Rawlings, one of his colleagues fell. I can still see him walk in front of Kotoka Primary School with a casket on his shoulders. That's Jerry Rawlings. Rawlings had a heart. So my love for Jerry Rawlings and the revolution is personal. Nobody forced me into it. Fast forward, as a student leader on Legon campus, 1990 to 93, the things we did to restore democracy. Ask my colleagues, we wanted democracy. I still remember voting in front of Legon Hall. That's where the ballot box was for my hall. I voted NDC for Jerry Rawlings. And Edu Boahin on Legon campus seemed to have won. But of course, when the votes were counted, Jerry Rawlings won. But that's by the way. So nobody compelled me to join the PNDC or for that matter, the NDC. So when President Mills, we had lost the 2000 elections. He had gone to Canada for sabbatical. Few young guys had formed the Youth Forum. President Kufuor had won power. The UP tradition had been in opposition for decades. You could imagine the gush of power, excitement. A few things were happening beyond the red line. Report here, report there, proceed on leave, blah, 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 blah. Some of the elderly folk couldn't just come out. So young guys, we came together. Kuku Hill, we began Youth Forum. I can remember Gadi Alakwa. It was Gadi Alakwa who took me to the Youth Forum. Otache, he's no more. May his soul rest in peace. Komla Sopo, Isaac Biako, Clarissa Akolache, the late Jijote.
Was John Mahama part of that?
No.
Okay.
And that's where we found energy. Other people, in the past, I used to mention their names, but I've decided that let them tell their own story because you mention their names and they think that you are mentioning it because you want to associate. Let them find their own level. I have my own verve. So those ones I won't mention their name, but so those ones. And I recall, Evans, one day we had to go to founder, President Rawlings' office at Rage. Because President Mills had gone on sabbatical in Canada. And so we went. And I remember sitting on the carpet because there were quite a number of us and not enough seats. And so, long and short, President Rawlings just kept telling us that professor whom he made his vice president in 96, who led us in 2000, who is in Canada, we should make sure that anything we can do to get him back to lead the NDC, we should do because the man was a good man.
This was ahead of 2004.
Yeah, this was ahead of 2004. So this is 2001. And I was at the bank.
Yeah.
So we will close, we go for meetings. And now the story President Rawlings told us was that as president, he had a Lebanese friend who wanted some tax concession. So he called the finance minister, who was then Dr. Kwesi Botwe. So this is maybe 91, 92, thereabouts, before Dr. Kwesi Botwe resigned. But of course, Dr. Kwesi Botwe and President Rawlings also were classmates in Legon. And that he wanted, finance minister, can you help my Lebanese friend with some tax concession? What it to be done? About a year plus, he met the friend again. The thing had not been done. So when he called the finance minister and asked him, the finance minister said, it's not him, but it's that professor at the IRS who happened to be John Livans Atta Mills, who was refusing to grant the tax concession or whatever it was. This is Rawlings telling us the story. So he asked his finance minister, Dr. Botwe, to bring in President Mills. They came to the castle, and this is Rawlings telling us that he did everything to attempt to intimidate this man.
He won't budge.
He won't budge. And that his whole life, when he engages you eyeball to ball, President Rawlings, you have to disengage. But for the first time in his life, this professor engaged him. till he, Jerry Rawlings, had to disengage. So when in 96 the man's name came up to be his running mate, he was like, that man who made me disengage, he's a man of integrity, long and short. Of course, when I was in Legon, President Mills was lecturing, but not my lecturer. So if the founder of the party tells you this story about the man, then subsequently President Mills came back. Evans, I've been gifted with talent. God has gifted me. You know me, I write. My English and my grammar, sweet. My fingerprint, sweet. So in my writings, and I set up the Ghanaian Lens. I used to write for the Ghana Palava. I won't tell you what name, pseudonym under which I used to write. But so President Mills picks up a phone, calls me, Koku, I like the way you write. I like the way you speak. I like the way you carry yourself. I know your father. We used to play hockey together some time ago.
So he brought you into the fold.
Can you work for me? And I was then working as a head of investment and treasury. Can you work for me? I'm forming my campaign team to go back to become flag bearer. I want you. I believe you have something that can help me win an election. I think you have it. Look, Evans, and the story about President Mills himself and how he became President Rawlings' vice president without consulting certain people. So long and short, I said, I'll work for you. Then he said, I don't have money to pay you. I said, it's not about money. It's a calling. You've called me. It's not a job. It's a calling. Just like Christ called his disciples. I'll work for you. But based on only one thing. Let there be trust. If you give me your trust, say, I'll give you my life. Evans, he gave me his trust. And I was prepared to put my life on the line for him. So my relationship with Professor Mills was not engineered by anybody. I have no godfather. Subsequently, I got to meet Professor Awono. And what Professor Awono told me was that, Koku, I respect you because Professor Mills respects you. The way he speaks highly of you, I'm prepared to have you as a son. Now, so if you live in this world where nobody can manipulate you and use you, and so you live for God, you live for your self-worth, and people dislike you for it, I have no sympathies for those who dislike me for it.
Did JM came into the picture then?
No. So I didn't know him. I mean, I used to hear his name, but I only got to know him after President Mills called me one day because Mohammed Mumuni Alaji was running mate for 2004. We were going to 2008. So we had won 2006. President Mills, that's the NDC Internal Congress. President Mills, Alaji Muhammad Idrisu, Dr. Spielgraber, and
but the very famous Funka Games.
And so after that, we had to go into a main election. So, and Evans, I recall how you joined us on the door-to-door.
Door-to-door.
You are just coming tomorrow. So you know my passion for the man. So at a point in time, of course, the electoral laws say you need to file. And as you go and file at the EC,
you have to go with
a running mate. So President Mills called me and said, Koku, you know, so and so. So a decision has been taken, and I want you to know in advance before that. And this is how humble the man was. In fact, the morning he called me to come and work for him, the word that really hit me was that, please, can you work for me? And at every point in time, it was please, thank you. So
that's how he came in. But you said something at the beginning of this story we're telling us about if somebody believes he was more powerful than the president.
Okay, so
did he hold himself as such?
Wonderful.
No, he didn't say that.
So we've won an election. I'm head of communications at the presidency. I'm not the only one observing. Many other people are observing, but I have the mandate. And you watch. And at certain times, when there are competing stories, and so let me just say
from the president and from the vice.
Good. So I state for the record, I never disrespected the vice president. And I mean Vice President John Dramani Mahama. I never disrespected him.
Because the story is that
it wasn't
treated
possible.
him with contempt.
How? They said I used to stop him from entering his office.
Did he not?
Was I a janitor? Did I hold keys? Even the keys to my own office, I never.
But you can engineer that with your power and influence.
I'm not base. I'm not base.
But you paint a picture of somebody who was undermining the authority of the president.
Me?
No, as in a picture of him undermining Mills.
I didn't say so.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that I never disrespected him. I couldn't. They said I stopped him from seeing the president. It's not possible. Anybody who knows how the castle is configured, the topmost floor, the president, the vice president, the cabinet room are up there. Me, I'm down there somewhere. So I'm not even there. And there's a dedicated corridor between the president and the vice president. At any point in time, the vice president wants to see his president, he walks on that dedicated corridor. Me, I'm not allowed to walk there. He goes to the president's office, as we say in Ghanaian, sometime. You are there. It's you and your president. How could I have been stopping you from seeing the president when I'm not even on that floor? It's not possible. They said, the most ridiculous one I heard at them, they said, I used to slap the vice president. Oh, an executive vice president, me, I'll be slapping him. And President Mills allowed it. James Bibaku Mensah said, a disciplinarian par excellence, secretary to the president. Even your tie, when you wear a tie, you don't wear it right. Mr. Bibaku Mensah will tell you that's not how to wear a tie. John Martin Newman, another disciplinarian. Professor Kofi Awono, chairman of Council of State, who is going to allow you to disrespect the vice? But even then again, Evans, as we sit down here now, will you allow me to just slap you?
Okay, but clearly your relationship with him is non-existent. There's definitely a bad blood between the two of you.
No. Look, from my side, he's older than me. He was vice president. He became president. I'll work for him. And it brings me back to that interview.
You work for him, but you don't work for him anymore.
That's what I'm saying. So we work for him.
Okay.
So where's the bad blood from? I'm not in any competition with him. But the truth of the matter is that there was a president at that point in time who was President Mills. We all owed it a duty to him to work up to him, but not to disrespect the vice president. I never disrespected the vice president.
Because you said on your Twitter handles, I'm waiting for a one-on-one with John Mahama.
Yes,
why?
Yeah. So that he will tell the whole world whether I ever disrespected him.
But he hasn't said so. So why do you want him to say?
But you've just told me about...
Yeah, but those are things that people say.
Yeah, but you see, he owes me a duty of care.
Why?
Okay. So then I owe myself a duty of care to dispel that I never disrespected him. I never.
He owes you a duty of care to tell the world that you never disrespected him.
Yes, because that's the story. And you've said it yourself, that's the story. But it's not true.
You've said your truth. You want him to say his. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. But if he won't say it, I will continue to say mine. You see, and the more I say mine, and it's as if you have something against him.
But your relation with him is broken down. That's a fact.
How? Well, after the death of President Mills, I never met President Mahama one-on-one. He was sworn
Did he sideline you?
Oh, yeah, I mean, I didn't work closely with him. So I ended up at the party headquarters as a deputy general secretary.
Because he didn't want you in his ranks?
I wouldn't say so. Look, so back to this institute.
Yeah.
It was something that myself and President Mills used to discuss. I foresaw.
Before he died?
Yeah, I foresaw.
I mean, finally on Jem before, so we can put this by the boom, go to the institute, which is key. Do you still talk?
I've never had a one-on-one with him.
I mean, in the last few years?
I've never had a one-on-one with him.
Okay. Do you call him?
I don't have his number.
You're not on talking terms?
Oh, when I meet him in public, I'll give him his reverence. But otherwise, I don't have his number.
So John Mills died, and then you decide to set up
and let me just say, so I never had a one-on-one with him. When he moved to the Flagstaff House, in the early days, I was made to understand that I was a pariah. And so I didn't have to come to the Flagstaff.
Who made you understand?
Oh, well. And so I didn't go to the Flagstaff House.
But who made you?
Oh, well.
Was that an impression or somebody told you?
I was told.
By who?
Oh, I'm not going to mention it because that's not. But so I never went to the Flagstaff House. So for the 4.5 years he was president, I never entered his office. I never met him one-on-one. If he showed up at the party office, so maybe, but otherwise, the only time so there's his office, the upper floor. The one and only time I set foot there was when My own EP church.
People came around.
Came around.
Let's go to the institute. So you then decide after Prof. Mills dies that you would form the Atta Mills Institute.
So I was saying that myself and President Mills
discussed this before he died.
That after his 8 years, just as President Kufuor had formed his foundation,
okay,
and had moved with what's the gentleman's name?
That's I know who you're talking about. He was his press secretary.
Yes,
his press secretary. Yes,
Ajekum. So it wasn't that, you know.
So you say Mills and you conceived that Atta Mills Institute.
Exactly. That, Prof, I know that because of my loyalty to you, after your 8 years, I'll be punished for my loyalty to you. So I don't want to hang around too much to be punished. I'll step out with you. You are an academic par excellence, statesman, sportsman, religious man. Prof, let's go and do something. But he always had a way of smiling. Anytime I said it, okay, Koku, we'll do it. But, okay, then you'll stop, then we'll laugh.
So that's why you created it.
Exactly.
I mean, so you're saying the fact that the Atta Mills Institute had the blessing of the man himself.
Look, if I'm lying, may the spirit of Prof never forgive me. If I'm lying, may the spirit of Prof never forgive me. I had his blessing. And so just like Joshua and Moses passed, but Joshua had an assignment.
So, I mean, if that is the case, yesterday, the party, John Mahama, John Mills's family, right?
Who?
Well, that's what we're told. That's what we're told. Held an event and they launched
let's be specific.
the JEA.
Okay.
And launched the JEA Mills. Well, I want to be specific about what? I'm interested.
Please finish.
No, the JEA Mills Memorial Heritage, which is different from the Atta Mills Institute. And you have said that people of Ghana respect it. Please check out the colors of this. Fake and criminally minded pretenders. That's what you call those behind the JEA Mills Memorial Heritage. Why? Fake and criminally minded pretenders. Strong words.
Evans, you preamble. This is the logo.
Atta Mills, yes.
I'm branded. And in your preamble, you did a good job. It's been how many years since the AMI? We are duly registered. Every year we renew our certificate. We do our accounts. Koku Anyidoho is a bad person. He hates everybody. Everybody dislikes him. But God loves him. My family loves me. My children love me. So because of politics, you dislike me. And not because he's lazy. You never hear anywhere they say he's lazy. The only thing is they say he disrespected John Mahama. And so John Mahama is now the leader. So anybody who wants to get close to John Mahama. And I'll tell you a typical one. So I didn't go to the castle until Julius Deborah became chief of staff.
No, because of the time, I wanted to address this thing that this is yours, right? You said this.
So this is mine.
Yeah, I mean, the words that I read are.
Oh no, of course I don't. They're my words.
Yeah, fake. But I'm asking you, why do you describe those behind the JEA Mills heritage as fake and criminally minded?
If you go and take, first of all, we welcome them. I didn't say they shouldn't come, but let there be some originality. This is Koku Anyidoho, who's a bad person, who has gone to form Atta Mills Institute because he doesn't like John Mahama. If you want to do another thing, be original. You've just done your preamble. You've done it. They cloned everything that we have done. But I'm happy. When Copernicus discovered that the world was cyclical, he was beheaded. Go and ask Socrates. Go and ask Plato. Go and ask every inventor. And as I heard yesterday, you said the family. Where's my diary? This is my diary. As I listened to bits and pieces of the things that they said yesterday, this is what his brother Sami Atta Mills. You say family. It's Sami Atta Mills. That's a different matter altogether. We'll talk about that later because his son.
So the family is not.
I'm not saying so.
Okay.
But it was Sami Atta Mills who was there.
Okay.
His son, Kofi Atta Mills, has been at every event of the institute. And this is even my diary of 2012.
Okay. You're waiting at Kofi Atta Mills this point.
Yeah, so I was talking about Sami Atta Mills. He said,
Sami Atta Mills,
he said, and I quote him, People may not like you if you do the right thing, but they will respect you. That's Koku Anyidoho.
Yeah, I mean, so what is, you're saying that the family is not behind this and the family is behind you?
I am saying that he's a member of parliament. He worked with his brother. I mean, he was with his brother when I worked for his brother. Can he come and deny that I didn't work for his brother?
Yeah, but that's not in doubt. But they're talking about recognition. The family recognizes the J.E. Mills heritage and not your institute.
Please don't say that.
And I'm just, that's how I'm being said.
So don't say that.
In fact, just don't take my word for it.
Okay.
I want you to listen to the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. No, it's important. No, because you said I shouldn't say that. But this is what the party has said. So it's not coming from me. I wanted to hear yourself.
It wasn't a party event.
No, but I know. But the party,
Evans, hold on. With all
just for the avoidance of doubt.
Please.
The party's position.
We will listen to him.
The party position, just a second. It's important for clarity. You know how this works.
Yes.
So that people don't say, I'm saying this.
Let me just be fair to Alex. Let me be fair to Alex.
Alex Egbefia. No, I'm not talking about Alex.
No, let me be fair to him. As the chairman of Alex stated emphatically that he's non-partisan.
It's true.
So before you play that voice, I just want to be fair to Alex.
But I get it. But in that sense, it doesn't change the fact that this is what the Deputy General Secretary said at the event yesterday.
We are talking about Professor Johnny Vance Atta Mills. He transcends an individual. And so clearly, if you see what has been done here, it transcends any individual and any person who wants to, do anything in the name of President Atta Mills. You saw the congregation of great minds, top senior citizens who were here to mark the launch of this heritage. This is something that is going to be around for a very long time and for the next generation. We are immortalizing the principles and the values that President Mills lived for, and that is what we are doing. So no other foundation is in competition with this foundation or this heritage that we have established. We do not recognize any other.
Okay, you don't recognize Koku Anyidoho?
It could even be your foundation. It will not serve the purpose. It could even be your foundation. It will not serve the purpose. This will serve the purpose for what President Mills lived for.
Are we on air?
Yeah, we are on air.
First of all, he says lunch.
Yeah.
What were they eating there? It's lunch. Bad grammar. Lunch. It's not lunch. So people like that, I don't discuss them. Secondly, I don't own a foundation. I own an institute. This guy worked in my office under President Mills. I don't teach people who work with me bad English. I'm a student of the language and I love good grammar. I detest people who speak bad English. But back to the issue, I don't own a foundation. I own an institute. So he says they don't recognize any foundation. It's got nothing to do with my institute.
So they don't recognize, your institute isn't recognized?
No, he says foundation.
I get it. So that's him. But I'm asking a different question.
But
from John Mahama to Alex Egbefia.
I've listened to Alex. Alex said the space in the ocean is so big that
for everybody else to play in.
And that's Alex. So me too, I'm saying that the space in that ocean is so big. But you see, Atta Mills Institute began something. Thank God people are coming on board. A couple of years ago, it was not in vogue to speak Atta Mills. Today, it's in vogue to speak Atta Mills. I am happy. It is his 10th anniversary.
So
we are all celebrating him. So wonderful.
You say, according to again on your page, thieves, 3 exclamation marks. They are so incompetent. They stole the green and white. You are bitter, are you not?
Oh no! You see, when people are bitter, they speak bad English.
But when you call somebody thief, what have they stolen?
When people are bitter, they speak bad English. They don't even know what they're talking about. So they will say foundation. When people, those ones are the ones who are bitter.
No, but I'm asking the right question.
Because you have nurtured them.
What have they stolen?
But green and white colors.
So it's your contention that they stole your colors and the logo?
It's pretty obvious, but you're welcome. Somebody must start something. Look, the greatest leaders on earth are the ones who start something with a vision and people steal into that vision or buy into that vision. Great leaders don't cajole people and coerce people to follow them. They start their vision, they will bear the crosses and everything, but hey, once they are finished and it is well, let people come on board. I don't mind. I'm happy that the stone that the builders rejected, And then, Evans, you know the most interesting thing?
Tell me.
I have always invited the former president to the events of the Atta Institute. I've invited the party headquarters. They won't show up because it's Koku Anyidoho, no problem. So they didn't invite me to theirs yesterday, but I was there.
You went there?
I was there.
To the launch of the heritage?
Yes, in spirit.
Okay, now you got me there.
Because I heard Nanaoye Bampo read a certain message with a lot of energy. And I said to myself, Nanaoye, thank you for being my ambassador at the event.
What are you referring to?
Is this one, everlasting message, which I crafted. Let me read. It's a very short. This is the journey. And this book was part of, you remember?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, read it for me because of time. And your point is...
every picture in this book, 160 pages, every picture was captioned by Samuel Koku Anyidoho.
Okay, so you took it. So you say they read from
the pictures were from my office,
yeah.
And I captioned everything. Even the book, I named it The Journey. But let's listen to this one, which she read. And so she was my ambassador there. Nana, thank you very much.
Nana Bampo.
Yeah, Bampo, yeah. Everlasting message. I came to serve. I have finished my time here on earth, and I have moved on to everlasting rest and celestial duties with my Heavenly Father. As you live, not leave. I hope that young man is, you don't speak bad English. It's live. Not go on live.
I get it.
Yeah. As you live through these pages of my life's story, I pray to God that it touches you in many positive ways. Weep not, for I am not dead. I am alive and awake in the Lord. Ghana will not die, Ghana will live to declare the works of the Lord. As I rest in perfect peace in the celestial realms with my Maker, I pledge to always uphold and defend the good name of Ghana. Remember the Lord in all your ways, and He will protect you. Stay well, my brothers and sisters, for I will always be with you. So yesterday, as his speechwriter,
so you wrote this.
Yeah.
So what do you make of John Mahama now? Yesterday, of course, he was the main speaker. Obviously, being
he unveiled the logo. Was he the main speaker?
I mean, well, John Mahama is the most recognized individual at that venue.
Now, can we have a picture of President Rawlings?
What walking with you on?
No, production.
No, I mean no. But yes.
Yeah, no. It's very significant that picture. Mm-hmm. Back to the issue of the Atta Institute and the legacy.
Yes. I mean, we know we talked about it was shown on television.
So, what was the question again, please?
I mean, so bottom line.
Yes.
Where we are now, and one of the things you said, and one of the things that we also wanted to track, because talk about his legacy. One of the things that happened, and I saw your name on it, is the Cape Coast Library. Okay, and we'll illustrate that shortly. You said yesterday, wonderful edifice. They squandered the cash squeezed out of the telcos extensively to build this in memory of President Mills. So the contractor has refused to release the keys to the building, and it is rotting away in Cape Coast. And you seem to blame the John Mahama administration for this. So today, we went there. You said we'll come.
Hold on.
Yeah. Clarify. You see.
I beg you.
Yeah.
Let me just state for the records. Mm-hmm. It wasn't the John Mahama administration that built the Cape Coast Library.
It wasn't?
No. So it's not John Mahama.
Yeah.
No.
So
he commissioned it in 2016.
Yeah.
But
squandered the cash.
It was funded by the telco.
So who squandered the cash?
Well, there was a committee, and John Mahama was not part of that.
Yeah, true, but who squandered the cash? Well, we went there today to find out what he was talking about. My colleague, Koku Anyidoho, filed this one.
Is the Atta Presidential Library. It was inaugurated in 2016, so about 6 years ago, this library was commissioned by former President John Dramani Mahama. It was built in memory of the late president who comes from Cape Coast. It was also built for research purposes because they had the University of Cape Coast in mind. Now this presidential library stands idle. It stands lonely. There is virtually no life in here. The windows are falling off, and all the metals that were used in the construction of this library are all rusting away. Residents are overly worried that a monumental structure such as this should stand here and waste away like that. The contractor who built this facility logged the facility for non-payment of the contract sum. Let's take a walk to the people that facilitated the building of this facility. About 16 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 of them. So this is the planning committee for the construction of this edifice. Mr. Kofi Totobi Kwache, Commodore Steve Obim.
And you will see in that list there, Koku Anyidoho, who is with me here. So why?
My name is where? My name.
Your name was, I think, the number 8 or number 5.
If it's 16 from the bottom.
Yes,
so
yes.
16, 15.
Yes, Koku Anyidoho there. Yeah.
16, 15, 14, or 13.
Yeah. But tell me.
But this was my suggestion. But they put you at 13 because they think they are punishing you. So go to number 1.
Yes.
Go and ask him what happened to the money. Kofi Totobi Kwache. Go and ask.
But
He's there.
I'm asking you, so why is it like this?
I don't know. Go and ask Kofi Totobi Kwache.
But you are part of the committee.
That's why I said my name is at 14 or 13.
So you don't know why it's
when
like
I was the one who suggested to him, the chairman Kofi Totobi Kwache, that look, after having done this thing, it's going to last into eternity. So, Mr. Chairman, let's put our names there so that our great-grandchildren can come and glorify us. You see where they put my name? Yeah. So there are names before me. Go and ask them. Go and ask those names. But then again, the other problem.
But so you haven't found out why it hasn't. But this is
I've spoken to the contractor several times.
And they says what? The contractor says that he's being owed. He's owed money.
He's owed.
Who owes him money?
Go and ask the chairman of the committee.
But
I wasn't a member.
But John Mahama commissioned it.
Well,
without paying the contractor.
Well,
I'm asking you.
That's another question.
But you were the deputy general secretary once, and so you had connections.
Evans, deputy general secretary. But President Mills always told me. So I work with a lot of discernment and perception. I don't veer into areas that I'm not invited to, especially when it has to do with money. That's why my integrity is up there. I don't go there. I don't go there. I know who was the chairman. I know who was the disbursing officer, but because I don't want to mention his name on this forum for him to think that I have a question with him, I said, go in that order. I was the one. God knows that I was the one who told the chairman, Mr. Kofi Totobi Kwache, that let's have this plaque. But because you do a bro, so they put your name at the bottom. So go and ask the names before me. But another one is Asumdwe Park,
which has been renovated, I'm told.
It's been renovated. Now, one of my problems with Atta Mills, one of the problems they have with Atta Mills Institute, Evans, is because President Mills passed 24th July. We buried him on 10th of August, give and take 2.5 weeks. The master plan, designed by the Architectural Engineering Services Limited, was that a year from that time, which is 2013, it should have been done up to a befitting resting place. 4.5 years of President Mahama, Asumdwe Park was not done. Why it was not done, you'll have to ask him. Deputy General Secretary, while I was doing comfortable lead press conference at the headquarters, because my General Secretary had left to Sekwa to go and vote and had been called to work, the President himself raised his hands and said that he had lost an election by 1 million votes to President Akufo-Addo, even before Charlotte Osei could declare results. So I didn't say he had lost. He said he had lost with my boss, the General Secretary, behind him, wearing a batakari with a baseball cap, turned the other way around, like a rookie who had been drafted into the baseball. All I'm saying is that it wasn't done. So President Akufo-Addo is sworn in. I remember stories President Mills told me about he and Akufo-Addo, that they all went to Ideological Institute together. So I went to President Akufo-Addo and I begged him, his government, his administration, Asumdwe Park is being constructed. On the 24th of July this year, God willing, not to my glory, because I don't have any glory. The glory is to God. His Excellency the President will commission Asumdwe Park.
Okay.
His name will be on the plaque, and a certain Samuel Koku Anyidoho, founder, president of the Atta Mills Institute, my name to
Let me ask you a final question, final two quick questions. Yep. Give me, because it has been, I give you an opportunity to respond. There's some who, on the other side, suggest that the Atta Mills Institute, Koku Anyidoho is using it for his own personal, attending to his own personal vehicle, feeding fat off it. I'm sure you've heard it. Is that true?
Yesterday when they met, I heard them talk about a rep from President Kufuor's office and a rep from President Akufo-Addo's office, the first level. So caliber, stature. If you are coming after 10 years, and with all due respect to the former President Kufuor and the Minister of State, and you are dealing with a former president and a Minister of State, and me, I'm dealing with the current president, that's caliber. Secondly,
the question is, are you feeding fat off the institute?
When ask the people of Gontain, they have a corn mill, they have refurbished classrooms. That's why I wanted those pictures.
Yes, it's been shown. It's been shown on
exactly.
television.
So how am I feeding fat off?
Off it.
How am I feeding fat off it?
Are you still a member of the NDC?
At the last count, a certain mosquito tried to push the bull out of a political party. I've not seen a mosquito that has been so, a mosquito can push a bull out of a political party. Only for the Director of Legal Affairs to come at the tail end of last year and say Koku Anyidoho, who has not been suspended from the party. So
are you still a member of the NDC?
It's a voluntary organization. Nobody can sack me from the party. I'm a member of the party. They haven't given me any letter. Nobody has given me any letter. Yeah. It was an attempt. You see, there's some thinking.
It was an attempt to do what?
There's some thinking that Koku Anyidoho is as if I wake up every morning and there was an attempt. They thought that because they could do it and I'll get angry and say, I have resigned. Go and read.
So you haven't resigned?
Me.
You seem to hold Joseph Sunugeta responsible for this.
Sunugeta?
Yes.
We'll discuss him at another time. But you see, he attempted. He failed. That's it.
Okay. Koku Anyidoho says he's still a member of the NDC.
I am. A bona fide member.
Well, but that's just in word.
No. Have you seen any suspension letter?
Well, we saw the suspension letter.
Nobody gave it to me.
Okay. Well, so attempt to go to the NDC headquarters and let's see what happened to do your job.
Built by President Mills. Built by President Mills. Oh, why? I will go. If you like, tomorrow I'll go there. Nobody can touch me.
Enjoy the rest of your evening, people.